Hello out there, everyone. Today we'll be looking at Nosferatu The Vampyre, the Werner Herzog film from 1979 starring Klaus Kinski, Isabella Adjani, and Bruno Ganz. Now, of course, Klaus Kinski, I think, gave Max Schreck a run for his money. If anyone wants to go down a rabbit hole, watch the wonderful documentary called My Best Fiend. It's a Werner Herzog documentary about his relationship, a very tempestuous relationship with his muse and friend and enemy, Klaus Kinski. Klaus is a terrific actor, but he was also an incredibly messed up guy, and he did some things that were just bordering on the insane. I think that you might chalk it up to performance art, but in my view, he was a pretty troubled soul. But there is absolutely no denying that Klaus Kinski was a terrific actor, and I think this film, he was arguably at his best. I mean, it was a truly haunting depiction of the titular character. So much so that I mean, if I had to pick Max Schreck versus Klaus, I think Klaus's performance was better still because he had to rely on voice and sound as well as imagery. I mean, I don't think there's any denying that Max Schreck was incredible, and for the time, no one had ever seen anything like that. But if you're going to remake the film, I don't think you could do any better than what Werner did with this depiction, which incidentally is a little closer to the actual source material. Now, I was lucky enough to see this at a revival screening on a 35mm print in a movie theater, and that was the first time I had seen it, and it was amazing. I remember being blown away by the visuals. I think Werner Herzog does not get enough credit for how well he can lens a movie. I often think of the other terrific movie he did called Fitzcarraldo, which I highly recommend. I don't have that on my shelf, but it's a wonderful movie set in the Amazon jungle. And there's also an interesting documentary about that production called The Burden of Dreams, which I highly recommend as well. But the connective tissue is Klaus is also in that film, as it was also directed by Werner. And I think the collaboration between Klaus and Werner is undeniably potent. And again, I think as far as taking the story and creating this remake, I was just so impressed by how accomplished the film is. I can't recommend this movie enough. I think it's probably the best vampire movie ever made. I would say it is the best vampire movie ever made. And I am excited, but also nervous for how Mr. Eggers is going to do with his version that was recently announced, with Willem Dafoe playing the titular character again, because if those cinephiles out there might remember, he of course did a movie called Shadow of the Vampire, which was about the filming of the original Nosferatu, and it went off of the assumption that the Max Schreck character really was so in the character that people thought he might have actually been a vampire. At least I think that folks thought he probably believed he was a vampire because he completely stayed in character. So I think what's fascinating about this is that you have all of this lore based upon that original Bram Stoker novel, Dracula, and out of it has been birthed several excellent films. The 1922 original, this film, I think The Shadow of the Vampyre is an excellent telling of the story, and I'm looking forward with some measure of trepidation to what Eggers is going to bring to the table with his version. But in terms of just heaping praise, I can't do it enough. This 1979 Werner Herzog production is absolutely terrific. Yes, it's a little long, but I think it's just so hypnotic. The combination of visuals, acting, score, it's just a terrific film. So on that note, I will just say too that this is the Scream Factory release. We'll just go ahead and take a look at the interior. You've got reversible cover art, and then there's the disc art, and there are some supplemental features including a making of featurette and some audio commentary by Werner, who was always interesting to listen to. So on that note, please do take care out there, everyone. Stay safe, be kind, and keep watching cinema.